What is up, everybody? This is Mr. Rippe, and today I feel like talking into a microphone instead of sitting down and writing out a journal because that's boring and no one reads them. And I think I hit the character cap last time, and that was shocking. No, 2 times ago. Yeah, I don't feel like sitting down and writing and having to look up links and having to embed that. So I'm just going to be talking while playing Gotham City's Imposters, which is a ton of fun. I played it for an hour today with Ray and one other person whose name I forget right now. I feel like an idiot. It's a fantastic game. The only problem is that there's a bunch of server issues right now, as to be expected by a first-person shooter on day one, especially a multiplayer-only first-person shooter. But it's a fantastic game. It's $15. I suggest you go pick it up. It's made by the guys who did the original Fear game and a bunch of other popular games. Monolith, I think. Anyway, so one of the reasons I want to sit down is I want to talk about PAX. PAX. I am looking forward to PAX East like nobody's business. I don't know why. I think David Dreger, a.k.a. Knuckles Dawson, shout out to him, he said to me once that he lives for PAX East. Or not for PAX East, but for PAX in general. And that was PAX 2010, PAX East 2010. That was the first one. Saw him there, shook his hand, had a fantastic time. I still got a photo with him somewhere. I'll link it in the description, in the notes. Yeah, I really, after that entire weekend, just like experiencing everything that PAX has to offer, I kind of fell in love with it too. It's completely different convention than New York Comic-Con, than pretty much, apparently got an achievement, than pretty much every other convention that you will go to. Everyone there is just this nice, pleasant, just awesome people who will go out of their way to make you smile, and a lot of it is waiting on lines, but it's fantastic. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I live right now for PAX. That's really what keeps me going. And on the countdown clock on PAX East's website, it says 57 days and 12 hours. And I'm just going to outline my plans for PAX East right now, which is I am going to be riding up with Ray and possibly Katie. And the only reason I say possibly for Katie is because her boyfriend may also be going to PAX East. And if he's going, then she's obviously going to be with him. I'm not going to make her stay with me. And she may or may not be with him. That all depends on him going. And he apparently can afford to pay $120 for single-day badges, so he will probably go with his friends. Either way, after that, our group looks a little iffy right now. One person dropped out, but I'll let them tell that story. Another person is not answering our calls to them. So it's interesting. But right now, I kind of like the size of our group. I'm looking forward to, meeting a couple of you guys there, but I'm looking forward to walking the halls with Ray, and yeah. So we're going to be heading up Thursday night, and our hotel, which I will link in the description, it is a suite hotel. It has 2 double beds and a sofa bed. And I stayed there at PAX East 2010. It's a fantastic place. They are really nice. They're kind. They're courteous. They go out of their way to help you. They also have, which is awesome, in their main lobby, they have like a Tombstone vending machine. So you can just go there and feed money to the machine, and it'll give you like a pizza, like it would give normal vending machines would give a candy bar. So that's awesome. I want to try that because last time I went, my parents were like, "You're not doing that. That's probably gonna kill you," which it will, but it'll be totally worth it because I'll be dying after the PAX East ecstasy. So yeah, another thing about PAX East, because I know a lot of people it's going to be their first time, especially Brown Man. Shout out to Ray and Katie and Yeah, just a bunch of people who haven't been there before. A couple of things to realize. One, you will be waiting online forever for everything. And anybody who went to New York Comic Con or any other con knows that it's really just about waiting on lines. Well, no shit. But PAX East, it is just everyone there is for the same thing. And everyone is just going to be online. It's going to take forever to do things. Like, my dad last year, he waited online for 2 hours, or he held a spot for 2 hours to go see L.A. Noire demo, which was awesome, by the way. It was 40 minutes hands off, and it was just really awesome to look at. Yeah, but that's just an example of just lines that you'll be waiting on. And another thing that you'll be waiting online for is to get in. And I'm going to be doing something really, really stupid. Again, I'm stealing this idea from David Knuckles Dawson. I am going to be standing online if the doors open at 10, I'm going to get there 4 hours before. And I advise that most of you do not do that. That is a terrible idea. That waking up at 6 or waking up and being there at 6 every day is just going to be murder. And I'm going to be running on caffeine by the last day, and it's just going to be miserable. And it's yeah. So I advise you not do that. But that's just what I'm going to do that because I do that. And I'm going to be one of the first people in, and I'm going to be booking it to the queue line for the keynote speaker. And they haven't announced a keynote speaker as of this time, but doesn't matter because it's the keynote. Yeah. Another thing I suggest you guys do on the first day, because they have a funny habit of selling out, is buy your merchandise. Absolutely. Do not even think about waiting until the last day to buy merchandise. The Behemoth every year, or for the last 2 years, have sold a exclusive shirt for PAX East, and I won one in a contest by some miracle, and the other one I bought out on the floor. And I'm going to be buying their 2012 shirt, PAX East 2012 shirt, on the floor too, because now I'm locked into that tradition. Another cool piece of merchandise that they'll probably be selling is a scarf, because they've sold it for the last 2 years, the PAX East official scarf. And it's a nice scarf. I haven't really used mine, but I still kind of want it just because it says PAX East on it and has the year. Yeah, so just buy all your merch the first day, even if it's not just the Behemoth stuff or the scarf. Just make sure that you do that out in the beginning so you don't get sold out. Another thing is do not buy food there. The BCEC does not have a food court like New York, like the Javits Center does. And the food that they do have there is overpriced, and it doesn't taste good, and it's not even like real food. They just bring in food carts, and they're just like, what's up? We're going to sell pizza to you that's like half baked and costs $12. So I advise that you guys bring your own lunch and dinner. I'm going to be packing mine because I don't want to spend any money, or any more money than I have to. Another thing that I'm looking forward to at PAX East is the concerts. And the list came out a few days ago. Gabe posted it on January 27th, so almost 2 weeks ago. On Friday night, it's going to be the Video Game Orchestra, the Proto Men, Metroid Metal, and Mini Bosses. And on Saturday night, it's going to be Super Commuter, Paul and Storm, Jonathan Colton, and MC Frontalot. Both those nights are going to be awesome. They're going to be unbelievable, and I'm going to be queued up for 2, maybe 3 hours for that one. Or at least my group is going to be queued up for 2, maybe 3 hours. Or I'll just have someone stand in line, and we'll be tagging in and out. Have to speak to Andrew, Mr. Sir, and see what he and his friends are doing. See if we can tag out for some of the concerts and the some of the other things. By the way, shout out to Mr. Sir. Yeah, the VGO, Video Game Orchestra, I've seen perform both years at PAX East, and beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. It's amazing what they can do. They did a couple of like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, the obligatory songs from video games. And PAX East 2010, they did Snake Eater live. They had someone from, I forget what school it was, but it was some Boston school who was going there to become a professional singer, or, learning how to become a professional singer. And they brought her out to sing the girl's part in Snake Eater from Metal Gear Solid 3. Which, that song is terrifying performed live. I mean, it was beautiful, but I got chills. And every time I think back to that, I just get, like, goosebumps up and down my body. Proto Man I have seen 1, 2, 3 times now. And each time it's a fantastic live show. And they always put on a great act. And I love their albums. And I suggest you all go check them out. They have 2 albums which loosely tell the story of Mega Man. Act 1 follows the loose plot of, I think it's either 2 or 3, the one where he fights Proto Man. Well, I'm going to get a lot of flack for that in the comments for not knowing which one it is. But, Act 2, The Father of Death, is the prequel to it, which talks about Dr. Wily and Dr. Light. And how the world fell under Wily's control. And both albums are amazing. I love them. They're my favorite albums, or one of my favorite albums on my iPod. And what's nice about them is that they're rock opera, and they are, like, you need to read the lyrics once while listening to the album. Just, like, have the thing in front of you and just follow it while you're reading. Because it tells a lot more of the story than they can get across in the music. And you only have to do it once. Once you know the story, you don't have to do it again. And it just makes the album amazing. It's just they have such good music. I recommend you all check them out. Metroid Metal is the guys who do Arm Cannon and a couple other things. Danimal is, I think, the front man of it. They're just fantastic. I love to listen to them. It's just headbanging metal. It's all the Metroid songs. They cover metal versions, and they do a couple other songs as well. Like they did a War for Cybertron song, I think, at PAX East last year. And I know Fragger's looking forward to seeing them live. Mini Bosses, I don't know. They were new at PAX Prime last year. Same thing with Super Commuter the next day. I don't know them. I'm looking forward to going in blind and figuring out what they are. I'm assuming they're rock. Just gonna throw that out there. Saturday night is probably also going to be a Omegathon round. And what the Omegathon is, for those who have never been there before, they call 16 people, I think, 16 or 32 people. And they put you in teams. Or they do singles rounds and whatever. They just narrow it down. It's 32 goes to 16, 16 goes to 8, 8 goes to 4, 4 goes to 2, and 2 people who win it get to go to, I think, Gamescom in Germany. I think that's where they sent them last time. That or Tokyo Game Show. Either or. Full expenses, all expenses paid, round trip. They just win it. And all I have to do is play games. And I know I hung out with the dude who won the original Omegathon at the first PAX, Joey Gecko. Shout out to him. I hung out with him at PAX East last year through Knuckles. And he said that they didn't even they went to the convention, he and his partner went to the convention once. They went to Tokyo Game Show, and they were just like, do you really want to spend this entire weekend inside a convention center? And they walked around the floor for about 5 minutes, and then said, yeah, let's just go out and keep walking around Tokyo. Anyway, that's something to look forward to on Saturday. 2 years ago, it was Rock Band. Last year, it was Jenga. And that was the most intense game of Jenga I've ever seen in my life. it was awesome. Yeah, Paul and Storm I was almost crying last year. I was laughing so hard. And 2 years ago, I had no clue who they were. And I was just like, Mom, we have to go to this concert on Saturday night because Jonathan Colton's playing, and I love Jonathan Colton. And I had no clue who they were. And they come out on stage, and they sing the opening band, which is a hilarious song. And then they playing some songs, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're funny. They're pretty, friendly, family friendly and stuff. And then they do the Mother's Day song. And if you've never heard the Mother's Day song before, it is grossly inappropriate, and it's just hilarious. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. This is the first time I've ever been exposed to them. And they're just awesome, awesome people. And last year, I said before, but I was crying. I was laughing so hard. And they said that most people never get to be rock stars in their life, but they get to be Paul and Storm 2 times a year at PAX East and PAX Prime. They get to be like rock stars and perform in front of thousands of people. And yeah, Jonathan Colton is just fantastic. If you don't know who Jonathan Colton is, you're doing a disservice to yourself, and you should listen to him because Code Monkeys is the best geek song. And then MC Frontalot. MC Frontalot is awesome. I'm just checking where I am with time. 16 minutes. Yeah, I'm wrapping it up, or I'm just getting everything I want to say done. MC Frontalot is awesome. He is nerdcore rapping. And you might be going, what? Nerdcore rapping? Frontalot? Yeah. Really funny. It's just, he knows what he's talking about. And it's very obvious that he knows what he's talking about. And he's very intelligent, very well-spoken. My dad saw him last year with me at the Friday concert. And he said that out of all of the rappers that are out there, he is clearly the most, I forget what the exact word he used, but he knows English the best. He English goodest the best. Tongue-clucking grammarian, or grammatarian. I'll link that song and a couple others of his. They're just all awesome. I'll be linking songs from all the ones I said, except for Mini Bosses and Super Commuter, because I don't know them. Great show last year. Disease of Yours, my favorite song by MC Frontalot, if you guys know that. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to having a great weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. And is there anything else I want to say? Spoke about the lines. Yeah, seriously, meet up with people. Go with people. And just be like, hey, there's this thing, and we need to start tagging in and out if we're going to get good seats for this. Because the concerts and the grand finale on Sunday are all standing room, but for some panels, there's a queue, and some panels they don't clear out. So, like, more than likely, the line for the Gabe and Tycho Q&A, that's what I want to talk about, some panels. Some panels they don't queue out, they don't clear out for, and some they do. So in the main hall, don't expect them to clear out. Just like figure it out what you're looking for on the schedule, or what you want to go to on the schedule, and then just like plan on going to the panel before it and scouting good seats for that. Or scouting good seats for you and your friends. That's why it's always good to have friends. That's what I want to talk about, panels. So this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. There are a couple of fantastic panels last year and the year before that. I recommend you go see just the ones I know that are going to be there. I recommend you go to, obviously, the keynote. Doesn't matter who it is, it's the keynote. It's going to be a fantastic speaker. They had Will Wheaton and 2 years ago. And then last year, I forget who they had, but it was some author who wrote a fantastic book about video games and how it's no longer just like this toy. It's now become a cultural phenomenon, and how we're all evolving into a video game world. I also recommend you go see the Rooster Teeth panel, because they'll probably be showing something from Season 10, as well as a couple of their shorts. And I also recommend that you go see all the concerts, no shit, and the Major Nelson Q&A. Not Q&A, the podcast recording. Xbox Live's Major Nelson. He's the guy who is more or less the face, in air quotes, of Xbox Live. So He does a podcast every week with the now former head of enforcement, Steptoe, and one of the server code monkeys, E, and also one of the code monkeys, Laura Lollipop. They're all very funny people, and it's just a fantastic panel to go to, and they have prizes, and it's always funny, and I like the podcast, and it's very interesting, and it's good to just go and hear them talk. Another panel that you're definitely going to go check out is the Gabe and Tycho Q&A. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, why would I go to that? There's no reason to. I follow them on the internet because it's always the funniest thing. Just shut up and go. David dragged me to it 2 years ago. He said on Sunday, he's like, "Are you going to the Q&A later?" My dad and I are like, "No." David was like, "You have to go. Your PAX East experience is not complete without going to a Gabe and Tycho Q&A." I went with him. It was fantastic. It was just so good. So funny. And there was a girl who went up and gave an emotional speech about, speech, air quotes, about how important the work that they were doing with Child's Play was to her because she grew up in hospitals and couldn't really go out. And she said that the happiest moments in her life were when she got a video game at the hospital and could play that and forget how much pain she was in for a few hours. I'll try and find the video again. I know they posted part of it in a Penny Arcade, the series. They posted part of the video from that. I went last year. It was also hilarious. It's also moving. They're all Mike and Jerry are just so real people. They're so people who you can identify with, and they're all geeks, and they both grew up when it was just not popular at all to be playing D&D. It was not popular at all to be a geek, and they grew up bullied and depressed, and every one of us can relate to them. Every one of us just sees ourselves in them. And I recommend that you go. I'm just spinning like an idiot here in the video. I recommend you go. That is absolutely the panel that you can't miss. If you go to anything, if you can't go to anything, try not to skip the Gabe and Tycho Q&A. I would rather see that than the concerts. I just love that so much. That's really all I had to say. I think, that's it. Nothing interesting going on in my personal life otherwise. Looking forward to... Oh, yeah, that's why I also want to talk about my summer plans. Yeah, well, this is just extending this video even more. Might actually hit the 31 minutes of footage that I have recorded. Summer plans right now, I'm working again at the same place I worked last year. I want to be a bartender because, 18 to pour, 21 to drink. Stupid liquor laws. So I have to look into that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be poolside service again, but I have to speak to my boss about exactly what I'm doing over the summer and figure that out. I'm going to be doing light traveling this summer. I'm going to be going to BronyCon on June 30th and July 1st in the Meadowlands. That's going to be fun. Lauren Foss is going to be there. I need to speak to Purple Tinker about doing something secret, which I'm not going to be talking about until it's official. And then I'm also going to be going to RVBTO in Toronto for 4 days. All 4 days. And I know Ray's going to be going, and I'm looking forward to going with him and meeting everyone there who's going. Georgius, I know you're going to be there, so I look like an idiot here playing the game. I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of people there, and I'm also spending a week in fucking middle of nowhere. That's where I'm spending my week. No, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, I believe, and for mission work. And now, let me just clarify something. I am not a religious person. I hate organized religion. I believe that I have a lot of strong opinions, all negative, about organized religion, its origins, its purpose in modern society. I'm agnostic because I hate atheists. They're as bad as Mormons, in my opinion. And the only reason I'm doing it is because it's volunteer work. It's charity work, and you get to see what you did. That is just, I have done it the last couple of years, back when I believed in religion, organized religion, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see what would happen. It's awesome to see the reaction on people's faces, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to going back there and doing it again. And I may or may not go to RTX. Maybe. I might not, because I'm already taking 2.5 weekends off over the summer, and that would be another weekend. And considering I work mostly weekends, my boss is going to want to kill me. So I need to not do that at all, or I need to figure out my schedule. So, because if I can get the time off, I'm definitely going to be going. And if I can't get the time off, then, oh well, I guess I'll just save that money. Thinking. I think that's it for me. I think that's all I really had to say right now. A few shout outs. Brown Man for being cool, and in my group organization, being my fellow for PAX East. Mr. Sir, who I'm looking forward to seeing at PAX East, and Ben, who I'm looking forward to seeing too again at PAX East. Fragger, who I know is going, and I'm interested to see him for more than 30 seconds that I did last year. Yeah, that's it. So, what are we at? 26 minutes. Yeah, that's definitely going to go over well. Yep. I am just going to go ahead and stop recording. So, TTFN.